we are going to kick off our panel. One lady on the light at the moment, waiting for Mercedes. But we're going to ask some questions to our other esteemed guest. So just to do a brief introduction, we're very grateful that Kate Russell has turned up today. Woo! This young lady's been writing about technology, gaming and the internet since 1995 and appears weekly on the BBC Two and the BBC World News, reporting to technology programme Click, as well as having written her first novel for the Elite.
Yes.
So,
that's pretty much it, really.
where are we going to start off?
Also played a lot of games.
That's the best thing.
Pretty much what I've done.
Everything else is irrelevant.
But I think the first question will be, what got you into tech?
What brought me into technology?
It's very weird. Just go with this.
My brother, actually, like so many people of my generation,
Always
girls
the
of my generation, 1984, Elite on the BBC Micro. And basically my brother got the computer and the game, and I, for his birthday, and I got a Barbie doll stable for my birthday.
You too. Did you always have to play second player? Always.
No, I had to wait till he was out of the house because he didn't want me playing with his computer.
Boo!
I know, and I saw him actually coding as well, and I loved watching him get the computer to talk to him. And one of his first lines of code was, 10 print, math is awesome, 20 go to 10, execute. So, and that's his little sister was kind of like, that's not true, because math is not awesome. And to see it printed out infinite times. So consequently, my first line of code was 10 print, math is rubbish. 20 goes to 10. So, so basically, 1984 BBC Micro the original Elite. David Braben, like so many people that I meet in the tech industry, was the inspiration for so many people's tech careers. He's got a lot to answer for.
Absolutely.
I know I can speak for myself when I say way too many hours spent in Frontier Elite 2.
Yeah, well, at the time as well. Back in 1984, I kind of feel sorry for kids because they'll never understand from the wonder of going from not having computers to having computers. And we had this box on the table, and inside it there was this infinite kind of universe, galaxy. And it was like looking inside the door of the TARDIS or something. It was just like, how is this even possible? Oh, is this...
Kids take it for granted.
Stop the echo stop, which is good, because you can still hear me, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it was amazing just to see the wonder of this thing. I mean, my cats sometimes when there's football on the TV and the football goes off the side of the TV screen, the cats are kind of like, where's it gone? And it was a bit like that. It was just like, how is this possible? So yeah, it was all it was a pretty mind-opening experience.
And that whole sort of universe in a box thing, I can relate it as much as he's a bit of a single floppy disk. I think he's written an entire universe on this disk.
Exactly. Like
2K.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Elite is ridiculous.
Right in the
Elite
cheap seats.
belongs its own tier of games.
You could get, I think it's something like, I did this from a talk recently, you could get 64 million copies of the original Elite on your average smartphone today.
I can believe it, it's scary. It really is crazy.
And it was an infinite universe.
No, it was fractal.
Yes, but would you ever have got
Generated,
through
I
it?
think.
Still better than No Man's Sky.
Well, no, not quite actually, because Fractal is completely rebuilt. He's known as the, David Braben is known as the creator. And I interviewed him when they were doing the Kickstarter for Elite Dangerous. And they used to have beauty parades for the star systems that were created. So he would go through these procedurally generated, and it wasn't allowed to be completely chaos. It was like they would then go and edit them, and and obviously the whole idea of random number generator kind of theory is sometimes the names of star systems were rude, and so they would have to edit those out.
Probably that was the rule, not the exception.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, someone shared about No Man's Sky. It was sort of No Man's Sky before No Man's Sky.
Say again, sorry?
It was sort of No Man's Sky before No Man's Sky in many ways.
Yeah.
30 years before No Man's Sky.
Story and missions.
And gameplay.
Yeah. No, it is. And what you've got to understand as well is that until then, until these two guys, Ian Bell and David Braben, until they came up with this idea, we were stuck in kind of like the coin drop kind of gaming era. You know, you 3 lives, put your coin in, and the whole point is you're on a linear journey to a high score, and when it's over, you start again. And this was the first time that really we had the open world kind of sandbox environment where you didn't even have to play the game if you didn't want to. You just fly around and just see what you see. And actually, I now, one of the screenshots I do when I talk about the sort of like the way that games have changed over the years is you put the original Elite, kind of like your classic shot of the Coriolis space station and the Cobra Mark III going into it, and then you put beside it the today Elite Dangerous, same screenshot. In my mind, in 1984, it looked like it does in Elite Dangerous.
It still does.
Yeah,
In the heart.
yeah, in the heart. So yeah, it's also a lot easier to dock in Elite Dangerous. Let me tell you that.
The amount of times I crashed.
That's a true sequel.
I remember the first time I played that game, I
Still
removed
looks the
all
same.
the extra shields you get, and then I tried to dock into a planet, and I just exploded on entry.
I think everyone has tails.
I needed more cargo room! Carry on, Chef.
Okay, well, actually, it was funny because you were talking about children today and smartphones. One of the curiosities was, without giving anyone's age away, a lot of us grew up in a sort of time before the net.
Yeah, I'm 48. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was born in 1968, well before.
I'm well
the time
I'm
of
not
the
going to admit
internet.
my
Point
age.
out there's a difference in the internet and the World Wide Web.
And indeed there is.
Yes.
But I was going to say that when you look at kids growing up today to how we grew up then, how do you think it's changed with regards to sort of their approach to technology?
The interesting thing about the World Wide Web and what it's given the kids today is an infinite world of knowledge and information. If I was rubbish at school, I hated school, I didn't get, and I went to very, very old-fashioned kind of like girls' grammar school, where I had to learn by rote, history was about remembering names and dates and no context or anything like that. And if we'd had the internet today, the internet as we have it today, if we'd had it back when I was a kid, I probably would have been much more academically inclined because there's so many inspiring things, learning tools. The problem, I think, for kids today is they're in this kind of like weird period of history where their parents are still quite afraid of the internet. And so they don't really understand, they only see the bad things because the trouble is, the newspapers and the, sort of like the news channels, they only report the bad things. It's like that brilliant Bill Hicks sketch about taking acid, where he says, you don't hear, on the news today, a young man took acid and realised all matter was just energy vibrating at a certain frequency. We are all the imagination of ourselves and it's all just a dream. Here's Ed with the news. And it's just like that. It's like parents are terrified of the internet. I was invited to go and speak at a girls' school to sort of like 14-year-old girls, and they speak about social media. And as I walked in, the headmaster said to me, "Of course, you're going to put the fear of God into them, aren't you?" You don't know me very well, do you? But it's an amazing thing. And what I say to parents is, if you are afraid of the internet and what your children are doing on the internet, treat it like crossing the road. It's dangerous to cross the road. We don't make our kids live within the square block that our house is so that they never have to cross the road. What we do is we cross the road with them. And we teach them skills that will help them cross the road safely. And when we have seen them demonstrate the ability to cross the road, we let them do it on their own. And I think that's, and it's a tremendous opportunity for parents to actually learn about the internet through their children. And it can be a really good kind of like enriching experience for everybody. There's also social media is kind of, I see kids today on the train. When I was on the train on the way here, I saw these two.
Anyone not playing Pokemon Go? Is the question.
Pokemon
I have
Go.
a Windows phone.
I tripped up. If you see kids going,
The only person who play Pokemon Go are autism people play
you should be
Pokemon
watching where you
Go.
go. Put out. But no, I saw these two girls, and they weren't talking to each other. They were there with their smartphones going.
Oh god.
That'll be.
When my niece does that, I want to poke her in the arch.
Seriously. I want to poke her in the mon. But the social media, there's an amazing connectivity and connection that people have around the world now because of it, and it allows you to experience. You know, I've got friends from all around the world, and we get together regularly on TeamSpeak, shoot each other in the face with large projectile weapons and hit crankheads all day. And you understand other people's cultures and understand other people's kind of like lifestyles, and I think that's a really, really kind of beneficial
it's the
thing.
last generation of people that don't experience it. I think a lot of normal people that don't game are finally catching up on what we've had for the last 20 years.
Yeah, no, true. But the downside is, I mean, I know everyone wants to talk, but maybe not here, but people always want to talk about, you know, how bad cyberbullying is, and you know, and there are some really bad things that go on. But there's
The other problem is Kate.
Kate.
The other problem is it doesn't affect most of the people. That's the only problem.
Sorry?
It doesn't affect most of the people. That's the part of the problem.
No, it doesn't affect most people, and it's the stuff that that is, again, it's talked about in the news is all the bad stuff. But then on the good side too, or on the back. So my niece, one of my nieces, went through some emotional problems, and my brother pointed something out to me, and that is, when we were kids, if you were going through a bad time, and she's not being bullied, or, you know, she's got loads of really good friends, but she was going through some sort of like self-image issues, and when she went home and closed her bedroom door, that didn't stop, because she was getting texts from her friend saying, "Are you okay?" You know, and it was a very supportive kind of network of community. But what my brother pointed out to me was the fact that there's no turning off from it, for good or for bad, because they carry the internet around in their pockets, and you just don't get any respite. And he said, when we were kids, you'd go out the front door and the world is there, and you deal with the shit that you've got to deal with, and you have the good times you've got to deal with. But when you go home, you kind of shut the door, and you can kind of like defrag, power down, and you know, and then the next day you're ready to start.
It's definitely a mental health conversation of you need to disengage from the internet, and it's not just the kids.
Yes.
What I just want to point out is, before we had cyberbullying, we had bullying.
Yes.
And I think, at least I feel, before we had cyberbullying, bullying wasn't really that big a deal.
No,
only through the exposure did we really learn what it is.
It's the anonymity. The trouble with the reason that bullying escalates in the cyber environment is the anonymity, and people are a lot meaner when they don't have to look you in the eye and deal with the consequences of being mean.
The greater internet fuckword theory.
Between the cyberbullying of random people and the cyberbullying that actually matters, it's when it's the social circle that they're in already at school follows them home.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because some random twat on the internet saying something bad, you can ignore. When it's your own social circle following you home, it's bad.
Do you have a question?
When something goes viral at school.
Hang on a second, guys. I'm trying to.
Yeah, we've got Anarchy going on.
Easier for parents to believe their kid because they've got all the evidence right there on their computer.
Yeah, but I think that, again, that's a generation down. You know, when more parents understand
it's a hope for the future,
the
because
internet
we
and
haven't solved
understand
it yet.
the controls that they can get, then you're right. I think, but I think we're in this. Like I said, we're in this weird kind of generational kind of gap where kids know so much about the internet and know so much to gain, but their parents really don't understand it, and so they're fearful of it.
I do think this is the last generation.
Yes, question.
I'm a YouTube content creator, and we get accused of bullying all the time.
You're a
YouTube content creator.
All right.
Basically, we'll make a video response to somebody, right? It could be anybody. And if we've got a bigger subscriber base than them, some of our subscribers, always a minority, will go over and downvote their videos, leave comments. Sometimes with constructive criticism, other times it will be nasty comments. And we'll get accused of bullying. Like we're accused of sending these people over to their videos just because we linked the video in the description. But the thing is, we have to link the video for context, and YouTube removed the response button, which they had years ago. It's gone now. And the thing is, they can't prove we're bullying them because most of us never say go over there, so they just assume that we're somehow telepathically doing that, and that's the thing. It's people are so well.
Turn off comments. You know, and it comes back to what you were saying. That we need to learn how to step away, because some people will always be idiots, and some people will always be assholes, and that happens in real life as well.
Exactly, but
And the benefit of the internet is you can turn them on.
precisely, it's like in real life, you can walk away from a wanker, and everybody knows that. But on the internet, people think that they have to deal with them, and you don't. There's tools there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Or something else.
Shem, yes.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we can move on. I suppose the question I have for you, I mean, bearing in mind what we've just said about your past with Elite and your past with programming, would you call yourself a geek?
Yeah. Why not?
Is it a word that has any sort of association for you?
No, do you know what I wouldn't call myself? Is a girl geek.
Okay.
Good girl.
Okay.
Because I have absolutely no need to have any part of my life defined by my ovaries.
Exactly. Why should I?
I get asked all the time, what's your female perspective on technology?
No, what's your male perspective on technology?
It's like, do I need a perspective defined by my ability? Pretty much the only difference between men and women is I've got ovaries and a womb.
Yeah.
And it works in reverse. Yeah, no, I'm being transphobic. But no, I know. I was interviewed by a guy once who actually said something which was weirdly kind of like it was gender biased, but in an opposite way. He said to me, "Did it bother you when you were growing up that all the games, football games, shooter games, were all aimed at boys?" I was like, why is that aimed at boys? I love shooting people in the face with large projectile weapons. I hate football games, I have to say, but that's not because I haven't got a winner.
I hate this one.
It's because football games are crap.
I hate football games and I'm German.
But no, I hate labels and I hate boxes because all labels and boxes do is they allow other people to make assumptions about you. So there are many labels that people would like me to apply to myself and many soapboxes that people would like me to stand on, and I vehemently resist any of that because do you know who I am? I'm Kate. I'm me. I'm the person. I'm the sum total of my life experiences, and that is the overriding factor of what my opinions are defined by. Hand up, yes.
What would you say?
At the moment, I really want to say Elite Dangerous, but
You're allowed to. You're allowed to.
well, no, I like Elite. I really enjoy Elite Dangerous, and I have a great crew of people that I play Elite Dangerous with. But for me, the game is too much of a grind. I'm kind of like, I don't really want to have to grind repetitive tasks in order to gain. I want it to have more narrative. I want it to have a richer, deeper narrative. I love playing with my friends, but what we do is we don't do the game. We get into sidewinders and fly them at each other without shields in a space station airlock.
Your favourite game is whatever you play with your friends?
Yeah, it's sandboxing. It's emergent gameplay, they call it, right? It's taking the mechanics of the game, taking the environment of the game, and making something fun. Our latest invention was Slot My Sidewinder, one of our latest inventions, where I basically get into a heavily armed Sidewinder, turn flight assist off, sit just outside the airlock, and people get their largest, most heavily armed, heavily shielded ship and fly at me at great speed and see if they could knock me through the airlock. It was a lot of fun. I also find it very difficult to invent games in Elite Dangerous that don't have vaguely rude sounding names.
What you're saying is Elite Dangerous, Rocket League.
Yeah, well, elements of it, but there's different things as well that you can do. But yeah, I really want to say Elite Dangerous to that, but actually probably the game that I have enjoyed playing with my friends most recently is GTA 5. Again, because we just get stupid. We have family trips up the mountain where we go and steal the most ridiculous vehicle possible.
Stupidity is
Bubble dropping. Bubble dropping was a game that actually I believe Mad Dog invented. Our friend called Bubble. Get him in a mini sub, pick up the cargo bob,
pick up the mini sub, then we pick a small body of water, perhaps a swimming pool or a pond, and we go 5,000 metres in the air, drop a bubble in the mini sub and see if he hits the water.
Do you really
That's
see
a
these
lot of
water, or
fun.
do you try and make him miss the water?
It's not hard to make him miss it. Like a puddle from 5,000 feet. Pretty much, he's not going to hit it. So, but yeah, and again, I like changing games. I like changing things up. I get bored really quickly. So, I did download the No Man's Sky last weekend, and I just couldn't. Any game that requires me to grind before I can even take off. Yeah, in 2 weeks, everything.
No Man's Tech demo.
Yeah. Right. I'm really looking forward to Sea of Thieves, though. I played that at E3 this year, and I cannot wait. They had a playable area of the world, fully playable, but the world's not complete yet. And it just, if you've got 5 decent friends and some voice comms, Sea of Thieves is going to be a lot of fun.
Can we find 5 decent people in this room, though? Really?
Sea of Thieves, yeah, I definitely. But there's no release date for it yet, unfortunately. Sometime in 2017.
Well, I have to say, you kind of answered the next one, which is, what do you view yourself as a woman in technology? I'm not even going to go there now.
Yeah, I actually did. I did the guest edit for the British Computer Society's summer kind of like annual this year, and my article, 4-page article, was entitled "I am not a girl gamer," which goes into my reasons for. It is just such an unhelpful label, and
I've just always encouraged the girls in my life, my nieces, I've always encouraged them to be who they are. They don't need to be anything in anything, they're just them.
I don't encourage my sister, I just gave her my old PC. It's like, whatever.
I feel that the terms like girl gamer are used mostly by big name celebrities who try and brand themselves.
yeah, there is an awful lot of, if I label myself as a girl gamer, then perhaps I will get a bit more.
What about Boy of Horse Rider? I could have said,
Boy
right,
of Horse
well, because it's a girly thing, horse. Right? And I say that because my sister loves the horses.
To be honest,
right?
I think you're more discriminating.
There's some classic gender bias right there, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
I'm saying that. I mean, I play chivalry. I play chivalry and stab people on
I
horses.
find it again. It comes down to labels. It's like why would I want to put a label on myself that will make people. And people with, not everybody makes assumptions about when you put a label on something, but there is a certain portion of society where if I call myself a girl gamer, well, some people go, you're long past being a girl, to be fair.
Guys.
But then it's just unnecessary. I'm a gamer. I love gaming, and the fact that I sometimes wear a dress. I know a lot of boys who also.
Yeah, don't we all? Yeah.
On the weekends.
Okay, so sort of playing in the recent games, I'm not sure if you're aware things like Overwatch have introduced filters to stop things like Good Game Easy. I'm not sure if you've come across that.
Yeah, there's filters.
And Rocket
I don't
League.
play with that one.
Was it? There was one of the kids' kind of like chat environments, and they blocked some words like cum, C-U-M, and then you can't use the word cucumber. There's really it's a real sledgehammer to crack an egg kind of scenario when you start doing word filters. What I think is important is for people to be able to
talk,
block other people. And this is one of the things. You see people go, oh, these people are being mean to me and saying mean things. I don't think I know a multiplayer online game where you can't mute and block players.
it's a curated experience. You can either sign on and not engage at all.
Yeah.
That's fine. And you can curate by blocking. But even the filters, they're always amusing. One of my good friends is a girl.
Some of my best friends are girls.
Just admit it to that.
She's
Wow.
one of the few people I know that uses the swearing filter.
Right.
And we use that to mock her relentlessly by constantly swearing, so she doesn't know anything we're saying ever.
I want a plug-in for games that turn swear words into even worse words.
Oh yes.
You just start using binary. You know who's the real.
Whenever the swear filter comes on, automatically it always, in my mind, translates to the worst possible thing it could be.
Yeah.
Well, the
I
example-
want a plugin that translates all the American slurs to British slurs. Instead of fucking you have bloody.
You are my
instead of
favourite
cunt,
German.
You have ninja.
You are my favourite German.
Yes, hand up.
Favourite German.
What would you like to ask?
Asking questions.
Are you just exercising your arm now? Or?
Yes.
I believe the actual
We don't get
name
much
for
exercise.
constantly censoring words and then completely screwing it up, like with cucumber, is the Scunthorpe problem.
Yes, exactly. Scunthorpe problem.
Well, I think the example with GGEZ, if you,
Scun, I think. Yeah, it's a well-known Scottish slur.
if you type
Enough,
in,
Scun.
if you type in GGEZ at the minute, you can get, Mommy says people my age shouldn't suck their thumbs.
That's where
That's an unusual one. Yeah. It was just a question as to whether it seemed like it seems like a lot of these companies are trying to find an approach that works, and then experimenting with it. Some of them are cringeworthy.
Filtering of any description or censoring of any description on the World Wide Web, I think, is a slippery road to hell and should be avoided at all costs.
People just invent new swear words. It's what people are clever.
Yeah. Well, this is so they decided that they were going to they did this kind of like the censoring of on ISPs, because I had a really dodgy debate with some it was the government's advisor to internet youth or something.
Claire Perry?
And no, it was a guy.
Are you doing?
And it was, but I can't, it was such a long time ago, honestly, I can't remember his name. But his stance was, he said, we need to block, at ISP level, we need to block people being able to go onto hardcore pornography sites, because that is the route to child abuse. Literally, that's what he said.
Don't take away the porn.
So
Never
he was,
take away the porn.
The stance was, they're going to block certain words. They're going to block certain words so that people can't search for these things. And the thing is, you don't stop perverts from being perverts. What you do is you drive them underground. You make them use language and code that perhaps then a kid could search for Scunthorpe and find something other than a nice seaside resort that they were expecting at the end of that search. I don't know, is Scunthorpe not the sea? I don't get it.
You drive all the underground arguments into view,
Yeah.
where you can make fun of them because they're dumb.
Yeah. I would rather know who the bad apples are in my community and be able to point at them and
over here.
And
Most of them are in the stream, by the way.
He's already better.
And watch us.
Yeah.
Sorry, come
No,
in.
not at all, no. No, it's just you saying that, it reminded me of one of the college. At college, they put a filter up that blocked a bunch of biology search work. So students were trying to do their coursework and they couldn't do it because it was legitimate stuff being blocked. At the flip side, I will admit I was making a bit of money on the side moderating an adult chat site, and I could do that at college. So it's sort of swings and roundabouts.
Okay.
It's just proof that it's daft.
I know what I'm googling, mate.
Shem said it was moderated, but it was really one of the cam girls.
Yeah, when I say moderation, okay. But it's proof that if you know how to get around it, it doesn't block it, and all it does do is inconvenience people who.
It's like DMC, ridiculous. Whoever thought that putting really low-level digital encryption and blocks to stop people genuinely using their music and their digital content that they've purchased, that's never going to stop somebody who wants to pirate your shit. All it's going to do is interfere with the fair use of your shit from people, which is why my book, the books that I've written in audiobook, one of the deals that I had with my publisher, who feels the same way, is we will never DMC anything. And if you buy my ebook, you can have it on EPUB, you can have it on a .mobi, you can have it as a PDF. Because you've bought my book.
Yeah, and that's it.
And
I think that does deserve it. Because it's something that people are finding they're locked in. I've been buying movies on Google for the last few years. If I ever decided I want to go with an Apple device, I'm going to be shit out of luck. I've my entire
incredibly competitive, and a lot of people want to do it. It is really fucking hard work, like proper hard work. I've been freelance since 1995, and I've been through dry spells. I have to be incredibly self-motivated. Alex will tell you, I sometimes will work 14-hour days, 7-day a week, and you have to do it. If you want the next job, especially in freelance, you are only ever as good as your attitude in your last job. So you can create consistently reasonable content, but if your attitude stinks, and people, you get taken the piss out of, you get given way too much work, you're way underfunded, particularly in television, particularly in the BBC, we're massively underfunded, we're expected to do way more than we should be able to do. We have to work incredibly hard, and you have to do it with a big fat smile on your face and get the work done, because if you don't, then there's somebody else waiting just outside those swing doors for you to be like, and then for them to step in. So yeah.
Some wankers with the golden handshake.
I've never met anybody who's been golden handshaked. We're talking like Jeremy Clarkson and stuff, because it didn't end too well for him.
Can we just stop with golden anything? It's going to end badly.
You never know.
He's got the gold finger.
I'd accept the gold finger.
There you go.
Oh, good.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
Move on, Shem.
Moving swiftly on.
Are you offering, Mike?
Moving swiftly on.
Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, Mercedes doesn't appear to have turned up.
No, I'm so sorry that you got me and not a porn star.
You're doing.
Never too late.
We invited her for her aerospace engineering skills.
Oh, sorry.
Such a racist.
The misogyny in the room is disgusting.
You could start showing about.
She's awesome as well, actually, and she would have laughed at our joke. So,
Mike, can you just come?
Yes, I can. I'm going to go there.
oh, so can I sit down now?
Yes.
Hey, thank you very much. And by the way, thank you so much for inviting me here today. And it's just hanging out in a group of people this size with diverse opinions and a few good video games is actually, top of the list of the kinds of things that I like to do on the weekend. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.